Hi, I'm Chris Peel, writer and co-creator for Half-Ass Publishing's Some Big Lumberjack. In 2003, we debuted our first issue of Some Big Lumberjack, but in 2007, we released what would become our final issue. But as we prepare to enter 2019 with the advent of crowdfunding, I think it's time for a relaunch. Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. But before we can talk about the future, we've got to look at the past. 2003 may have been the year we released our first issue, but the beginnings of Some Big Lumberjack go a little bit farther back than that. 1992-93 is around the time when Some Big Lumberjack, the name, first kind of came about. So my friends and I, whenever we'd hang out, invariably one of us would do something or say something stupid. And naturally, of course, we would have to call that person out. And the way we did that is we'd just look at it and be like, Some Big Lumberjack, dang, dang, dang. And that's what we did. It was our way of saying, oh, you dumbass. You are the dumbass right now. And now that I've said this out loud, I feel like I should do that to myself because that sounds incredibly stupid, but that's what we did, and that's where it came from. Fast forward a couple years. It's 1995, summertime, and one of my best friends is having a barbecue at his house, so I'm over there hanging out. I brought a copy of Wizard magazine with me, and in that magazine was a contest for the best homemade action figure, and instantly Some Big Lumberjack came to the front of my mind. And I told my friend about it, and we kind of chuckled about that, and then we started coming out, well, you know, what if we did do something like that with this character? And so we started coming up with stuff, you know, a backstory, you know, does he have a sidekick? Does he have powers? What kind of weapons would he have? You know, who would he fight? Like, what kind of what kind of villain would a lumberjack fight, you know? A dumb lumberjack, you know, because that was always our intention, was he was just going to be a big dumb guy, because we were huge Tick fans, you know, and so that was a big inspiration for us. And so we rolled with it, and that night, that barbecue was really the catalyst for this whole thing, and that's when the whole idea of him as a superhero and a lot of these other characters that ended up coming up, and some we haven't used yet, but we're intending to, and we'll talk about them in another video. That's kind of when everything took root, and you know, we cultivated it, and we sorry for the gardening metaphors, but you know, it took root, and it grew into the comic book that was released in 2003. That was almost another offshoot, because then it grew even more. You know, each issue improved. Each issue got tighter. The format got tighter. The art got tighter. The writing got better. The stories got a little longer. And we really came up with something that was a lot of fun. Here we are now. It's been 11 years since we released an issue. But the exciting thing is now there's crowdfunding. Kind of my initial thought process on the whole crowdfunding thing was, this is just like selling a book at a con, but before you have the book. You know, I started thinking about it. I'm like, your campaign is like your table or your booth, right? And the comic tab of, say, Indiegogo, that's Artist Alley, and the website, you know, the Indiegogo or the Kickstarter, that's the con, right? That's the convention. And the more I kind of saw it in that light, right, I thought, this is perfect. This is perfect for us, because that's one thing we excelled at, was selling the book at conventions. And so I started doing more and more research on it. I started talking to my writing partner. I started talking to our artist, because that's one thing we definitely agreed on. We're like, if we're going to do this, if we're going to relaunch this, we need to have Jeff back. Jeff Olson, our original artist. He did all the interior for all 6 issues, and his artwork was so perfect. His style was so perfect for what we were doing. You know, it really lent itself to kind of the silliness that is Some Big Lumberjack. And so talked to him, and he was interested in it, and then finally everybody got on board. So Some Big Lumberjack's coming back, baby, and better than ever. And as things kind of get more solidified, the script's out, the artwork is rolling, you know, we've got a cover artist lined up, things like that. You know, I'll be sharing that information with you all and let you know kind of what's going on. And of course, for sure, once we have a definitive date for the launch, we'll be posting that. And we're going to talk about a lot of things, I mean, I like comics. I love movies. I love TV shows. I subscribe to DC Universe. I got a lot of opinions about that thing, and I'd love to hear what you all think about it. If, those of you who have subscribed to it. I'm an amateur blacksmith, I mean, I made my own coal forge. There's a whole lot of stuff that I'm interested in. We're going to talk about all of it. In the next video, we'll look at the covers. We'll go into in-depth of all the covers. And it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you guys come along for the ride. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, hit subscribe, and then don't forget to tap that bell to receive notifications on new content. For Half-Ass Publishing and Some Big Lumberjack, I'm Chris Peel, and I'll be talking to you guys again soon. Bye-bye.